Well, hello there. This is Mamet, Amma, to some of you. Welcome to this one. Again, let me start this video by making a disclaimer. This is an intellectual video. It requires you to think. Because I'm actually going to share with you a psychological principle. I want to share a theory with you that psychologists use to explain a lot of things in terms of behavior and interactions. And then I'm going to take it into practical examples to help you to understand. Today, we are discussing attachment theory. This theory is about how you latch to people, especially in your early days, and how this attachment or non-attachment explains a lot of the things that you do going forward. I am going to explain attachment theory using birth order, using birth circumstances. I'm going to use it to explain relationships. I'll try and pick it from many examples so you understand. So let's start from birth order. There are many people, I know we all think we are individual, but we are not that individual. We behave in very established patterns. And let's start with the birth order. In most families, depending on what the circumstances prevailing, the first child may be the most secure child in the home or the most insecure. Let's go through. A child who was had out of wedlock by a woman who was not connected to a husband, often by a man who may not have accepted responsibility. When your pregnancy was the greatest disaster in your mother's life. Oh, you will come to this life knowing that you were the cause of all her woes. A lot of these mothers will irresponsibly pass on the reasons why they are devastated in life to you and link it to your birth. But most of them will not remember to take ownership of their actions, so they will pass on to the kids. You know, some of them will even take you to go and marry somebody else. You in the stepfather's family, and I've seen this happen to so many people, they will tell you, you know, this is not your dad, so you can't have the same rights to him as the other children who he fathered. You sit in this corner, you don't cause this problem, you stay here, mind yourself, rah rah rah. If you need anything, it's a disaster. If your mother had you and she wasn't prepared, and she didn't have the comfort in your birth, well, the day you were born would have been the worst day of her life, and you will feel it. You will know it. Oh, and they will tell you. Even if they don't tell you, you will see it. These children who were born in these circumstances have very poor attachments often to the mother. I know some mothers who are very skilled and they leverage adversity to make things work and to compensate. I'm just looking at the average, all right? The average. Where the mother is average, not particularly skilled, is reactive and responsive to the circumstances prevailing. They are worried about the food, she can't even feed you, your mother is always on edge, she is not even emotionally connected to you, you represent her problem, and yes, the kid will know that. Such children have very poor attachments. They go through life knowing that they have nobody. And most of these children, when they grow, all they want to find in this life is somebody to attach to. Somebody to create that emotional connection they lacked as a child. Those children are the ones who are likely to find men or women very early because they want to find their own family. They are really interested in building their own family unit because somehow in their head they think that if they have a family unit, they will create the grounding and they will create the attachment, and because they are so desperate to do this, they also bring a lot of toxicity to this relationship. A lot of these people are very controlling in relationships. They are controlling of you. They don't want to share you with anybody. They want you to be dedicated to them, and anything you do is a betrayal because it takes them back to the original betrayal of the people who should have been most attached to them that did not. Okay. Another first child. The first child who is born into a steady relationship, one who is wanted, one who has been prayed for, who is an answer to prayers. Your parents are ready for you, they are able to provide for you, your grandparents are happy to see you, everybody knows that your arrival is not problematic, You are born to everybody in the delivery suite, grandparents cooing, aunties crying, everybody bringing gifts. From that place, you are yanked from the womb and you lose your attachment, which is the umbilical cord. And when you lose your attachment as a baby, you become disoriented. The one thing that was holding you down is cut off. But when you are cut off immediately, and that's why a lot of midwives now do skin-to-skin contact between mothers at birth. As soon as you cut it off and the kid is going to panic, and the mother holds you in a warm embrace, and you hear the same voice that you have heard for 9 months in the womb. Say to you, it's okay, darling. It's all right, honey. Don't cry. Hello, baby. Then you go to your daddy. Hello, Papa. Grandma says, hello. Mwah, mwah. Oh my God. Everybody's cooing. The environment is completely different from the first one I described. And children who experience this come into this world knowing that they are wanted. They are needed. They attach quite securely to their primary caregivers and sometimes to even peripheral caregivers. They learn that they are important and that they have a place in this life and they own the place in this life. They are loved. These people, their relationships going forward are completely different from the first law. See, if they meet a guy or a girl and you love them, it's great. But they are not desperate for love because they already have it from somewhere else. Their mother loves them. Their father loves them. The rest of the extended family loves them. So if you decide you no longer want to engage, they will happily let you go. They are not clingy. They are not clingy. Those are not people you want to threaten. I will break up with you. Break up with them and go. You're not the first person to love them. And you will not be the last person to love them. These people are quite loyal, but they also can come across a bit standoffish because they will not have you blackmail them with relationships because they have other more secure relationships. They are securely attached. Take it from that to the second child. So I have 2 children. I don't even have a middle child. But my second child is needy, she's clingy. And the reason why she's needy and clingy is this. I already had a kid. He was the apple of my eye, the center of my universe, and the center of everybody's universe around him. His grandmothers were both looking for a grandson, and they found him. His grandfathers were crazy about him. The aunties and the uncles loved him. And as for me, by the time the second child came, I had actually begun to realize that I was going to walk a tough path with the first one. He had speech delays. And I realized that we will spend a lot of time. He had a hearing impediment. He had quite a lot of challenges that required that I spent a lot of time with him. And yes, he was the center of the universe. And for a while, the little arrival, as much as I tried to compensate for, felt that it was her brother first. I couldn't do anything else because I needed to compensate and to help him overcome. He had barriers she didn't have. And so, yeah, we found ourselves going to his medical appointments where he was the center of attention. I would sit with him for hours and tutor him with aggression that I didn't tutor her with because she didn't need that kind of aggression. But in doing that, she also realized, like most of the second children, middle children in homes, that the attention was already somewhere else when they arrived, right? Those children are problematic in a lot of families. You know why? Because they need to do something dramatic to get attention. If they don't, they will just be part of the furniture. Those children are vocal. My daughter, my God. One of the things she accuses me of most of the time is birthday presents. That I think about my son's birthday presents more thoughtfully and then I give her whatever she requests for. Well, you request it, so I give you. Yeah, I'm requesting because I know if I don't request it, you might not do what I want. And I'm like, are you going to trust me or not? But again, the son has always had, he always knows it will be done for him as he needs. He has no qualms about that one. He was never in competition with anybody for attention. This one arrived to a very secure environment. And so yes, one of the things she needed to do was self-advocate. And my daughter is wonderful at it, self-advocate. She will defend her position. She will put the first child does not need that kind of advocacy because of the attachment formed. Yes, I was aware of this. Yes, I tried to compensate. I succeeded to an extent, but clearly did not succeed 100%. The middle children or the second children in most homes are problematic for this reason. You will not notice them otherwise. And if they can't get your attention in the positive, they will also get it in the negative, because a lot of them figure out attention is attention. If they do negative things to make you stop and acknowledge them, well, that's exactly what they're doing. So yeah, you will find, and people call this the second child syndrome, the middle child syndrome. Oh my God, those are just incredible people. The youngest child is often the one that you dote on. You spoil them. My second child is also my youngest child, and she plays all these interesting roles. She's doted on. Whatever she wants, she will get. By the time you have your final child, you are tired. All the strict discipline you had with the first one, the wind is taken from your sail. You just don't have the same energy to do it again. And so you let them get away with a lot of things that the earlier kids would not have got away with. Yeah, these ones are spoiled brats. They are. Because naturally, you have two eyes and you can only gravitate towards particular places at the same time. And so for these kids, there isn't a lot of attention. But the parents know. And so the parents overcompensate with this by buying them whatever they want, by excusing their silly behaviors, by encouraging and accommodating their nonsense. And so you will find that these people are not as self-aware of their limitations as some of the other children I have described. They are spoiled. They think the universe revolves around them and that they fat gold. Everything they do is right. Everything they do is great. Because sometimes the siblings dote on them and the parents dote on them and everybody dotes on them and we spoil them. They are very attached, but they are also not as securely attached as the original ones that turned up. Who you are engaging with is somebody you need to understand from the attachment point of view. If you deal with, I'm a very attached girl. My mom, she wanted me. She tried for a long time and wasn't getting me. And then eventually she got me. Then she tried for an even longer period trying to get me another sibling and failed miserably. So I spent quite extensive periods being alone, enjoying utter 100% attention from my mother. My dad had also gone into a political exile at that time, so really it was 100% my mother and I. As for that woman, I love her to the moon and back, and she knows, and she loves me to the moon and back, and I know. Sometimes in this realization, other relationships are not that important to me. I want them. I love it. It's amazing. But will I commit suicide when they end? Not really. And sometimes when people, I no longer want to be your friend, I'm like, okay. And you find a few people get shocked. What do you mean, okay? You don't want to be my friend? Okay. I am no longer doing business with you. Okay. It's fine. It's all right. See, my identity is not really defined by my engagement with you. It's defined by my original attachment, and that is very secure. And so the rest of the attachments, they are nice, they are desirable, but they are not the be-all and all. A person like me is not one you want to threaten with relationship breakups. I will break up with you if you don't. Because if you play that game, they probably will call your bluff. They probably will call your bluff. Okay, now take that relationship away and let's see who dies. And when somebody does that to you, I get that a lot. She doesn't even care. She doesn't even care. Well, she cares, but she doesn't want you to hold them to ransom. Why do you want to threaten a person with a relationship? Like, seriously, why would you? People who do the I will leave you, they tend to be the ones with poor attachments themselves. To them, the end of a relationship is the end of life, and so they think it is the same position with those with good attachments, and it's not. And if a person doesn't react the way you think they should react, then you feel betrayed and you cry. Attachment theory explains a lot of things. I want to bring it on. I want you to understand why certain people are attached in different ways. Children who have had adversity in the early days will have a different kind of attachment. Children who come from poverty tend to have poor attachment. You know why? Your mother, when you were born, was trying to figure out what to feed you. Yeah, she's going to give you to somebody very quickly so she can go make money, because otherwise she won't feed you. She's working 3 jobs to try and feed you. You won't get to spend more time with her. You will end up spending time with anybody and everybody who's willing to give you a hand. Those children are passed on from one person to another, to another, to another. Those children have fleeting relationships, and they don't realize the importance of the depth of relationship, because that's what they experience in the early days. Yeah. People from more stable backgrounds, even if it's not the mother who is the primary caregiver. So I know people who have nannies, who have governess. I know a girl who's had her nanny, she is a CEO's kid here, has had the same nanny for 21 years. Now that person provides the same sort of position that the mother would have provided. Yes, her mother is a business mogul. The mother herself is gallivanting, but the mother has provided somebody else who grounds her, who stays with her, who sorts her out, and she knows that when she calls this woman will do anything and everything for her. And yeah, she also wanted her job, so they formed a good bond. Yes, her primary caregiver is her nanny. It would have been lovely if it was her birth mother, but it wasn't. But she's been given somebody else to build that attachment with. And you see, those who are able to have, even if the primary caregiver, even if the constant is not the mother, for some people it's a grandparent, for some people it's something else. But if that something else is available over the long term, and you come to trust that that relationship is secure, it's unshakable, it's there, and it's got you, you are still attached. You are still attached. If your mother is poor and needs to be working and comes home tired and stressed and screams and shouts and yells and pushes you away because she is overstimulated, well, it doesn't matter what your birth order is going to be. You are going to be poorly attached. When you deal with people, it really helps to look at them from their backgrounds, to see the reasons why they may be well attached or not attached, and to understand some of their psychological reactions to you and the relationship. And you know, sometimes understanding what causes these things allows you to be able to not take it personally, to understand that this person is poorly attached. I am probably the first secure relationship that this person is experiencing. So I will have to be very patient to continuously reinforce the fact that I'm here, I'm going nowhere, they can't push me away, I will not leave them even if their birth mother left them. And sometimes knowing this allows you to work your strategy so that you eventually get to reassurance and stability with them. Yeah, it's important that you understand attachments and to use attachments to evaluate relationships. I have found it very helpful. Is this something new? I hope not. But if it is, let me know in the comments. How attached are you? And do you understand why you behave the way you do in relationships from the attachment point of view? Do you understand why you are clingy or you are standoffish? Do you understand why your partner may be standoffish? And these days, with this understanding, you may know that it's not actually because they don't care about you, but it might be because of the experiences they've had. I'll see you very soon.